I drove 8 hours for Thanksgiving, brought wine, dessert, even flowers. At dinner, my sister stood up and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "You always ruin things. Just sit there and be invisible." Everyone laughed, so I stood up, smiled, and told her biggest secret. I was standing in the kitchen, stirring cranberry sauce like it mattered. The house smelled like cinnamon and wine. Laughter floated from the living room, the kind of laughter that makes you feel small when you know it's not meant for you. Thanksgiving, the one day of the year we're all expected to pretend. Pretend like we're close, like we're normal, like I'm not the one they always forget. I'm Emma, I'm 29. I moved to Chicago 2 years ago for work. Got my own apartment, my own car. I never asked my parents for help, not once. But I helped them. When Dad's truck broke down last winter, I wired him $3,200. When Mom's dental bill came in too high, I called and paid it off quietly. No one knew. I didn't want applause. I just wanted to be included. And now, I was back home. I brought a $70 bottle of wine. I baked a pumpkin pie from scratch. I even brought gifts, little ones, for the kids. I drove 8 hours in the snow, alone. When I got there, no one opened the door. I stood outside for 7 minutes. When my brother finally let me in, he said, "Oh, you came?" That's how it started. Then there was my sister, Lily. Blonde, loud, perfect. She came downstairs in a new dress. Her kids ran around like they owned the place. Mom called them angels. Dad called them geniuses. I smiled and sat on the edge of the couch. Dinner started late. Everyone was buzzing about Lily's latest blog post, how it got picked up by a magazine. She writes about motherhood, posts pictures of her kitchen, pretends she bakes every day. Everyone acted like she was a celebrity. Then someone asked about me. Lily laughed and said, "Oh, Emma, she's too busy with spreadsheets and lonely takeout dinners to have a life." Everyone laughed, even Mom. I smiled. I didn't say anything. I was used to it. When we sat down at the table, Mom gave a little speech. She talked about gratitude, family, love. Then she raised her glass and said, "Let's toast to the people who make us proud." Lily, of course, for being such a wonderful mother and wife, and Ben for getting that promotion. She didn't mention me, not once. I had helped her last month when she was in the hospital. Stayed on the phone with insurance for 3 hours, paid for her prescriptions, drove her to her appointments, but no mention. Lily stood up suddenly, holding her wine glass. And I knew something was about to happen. She said, "Actually, I want to say something about Emma." Everyone looked at me. She smiled, that slow, fake smile. The one she uses when she's about to stab. She said, "I think it's amazing how Emma shows up every year without a husband, without kids, without really anything going on. It takes guts to still come around." Someone snorted. Dad said, "Don't be mean." But he was laughing. Lily kept going. I mean, it's inspiring in a way. She's like the reminder of what happens when you put career before family. So cheers to Emma for being brave enough to eat dinner with people who pity her. Everyone laughed again. And I just sat there. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I didn't even blink. I looked at her, looked at everyone else. Then I stood up, walked to the kitchen, picked up my coat. Ben said, "You're leaving?" I nodded. Mom said, "Oh, come on, it was just a joke. Don't be dramatic." I didn't answer. Lily said, "Geez, Emma, can't you take a joke anymore?" I turned back for a second, looked straight at her, and I said 5 words. "You should be more careful." She froze. I smiled, and I left. No one followed me. No one called. I drove to a motel outside town, slept in my coat. It was 26 degrees outside. I didn't cry, not once. But in my head, I kept hearing it. Her voice, her fake toast, her cruel smile. The way they all laughed. They thought I'd stay quiet. They thought I'd just swallow it, like always. But I knew something she didn't. Something no one at that table knew. And suddenly, I wasn't angry. I wasn't sad. I was just done. Because my sister had secrets, dark ones, and she forgot something about me. I don't scream. I don't hit back. I don't make scenes. But I remember everything. Especially the things people think I forgot. When I was 17, she came home shaking. I made her tea. She told me what happened, swore me to silence, and I kept it. All these years, because I loved her. But love has limits, and she crossed every single one. I lay in the dark motel room. The heater rattled in the corner. My hands were cold, but my heart, it was quiet. I didn't feel like the loser anymore. I felt something else, power, because I had a choice, and I was going to use it. Not out of anger, not out of spite, just because I was done being the quiet one. She wanted to humiliate me in front of the family. She thought I was weak. She forgot that the quiet ones are always the most dangerous. I closed my eyes, slept for the first time in days, and in the morning, I texted her 5 simple words. I think we should talk. No reply, but I knew she saw it, and that's when the unraveling began. She didn't reply to my text, not that morning, not the next one either. But I know Lily, she reads everything, even if she pretends not to, especially from me. I went back to Chicago, didn't tell anyone I was leaving, just packed up, paid the motel bill in cash, and drove through sleet and silence. The city was calm when I got back. My apartment was still cold, still quiet, just like I left it. I made tea, took off my coat, opened my laptop, and there it was, her name, her blog, her perfect little brand. She called herself the Honest Mother. She had over 300,000 followers. Her life, filtered in soft pastels. Her kids, always smiling. Her husband, always supportive. Fake. Every photo, every caption, every story. But one post caught my eye. Toxic people, how to protect your energy at family events. She posted it the night of Thanksgiving. I read the whole thing. She called me the bitter sister who drains joy. She said, some people show up just to make you feel guilty for your success. She said, boundaries matter. She never said my name, but everyone knew. The comments were full of sympathy. You're so strong for protecting your peace. You don't owe toxic family anything. She sounds jealous. And Lily replied to everyone with hearts, with smiley faces. With thank you, love. She was winning, online anyway. But that's the thing about the internet. It only works until someone turns the lights on. And I was holding the switch, so I logged in. My old email still worked, back when I helped her build the site. And when she didn't know how to run a blog, I did everything. Registered the domain, set up the hosting, picked the font. She never changed the passwords. She didn't think she had to. I sat there for 23 minutes, just staring at the screen. My hand hovered over the keyboard. And then I remembered something. The night she came home crying. She was 22, engaged, said she made a mistake, a big one, said if anyone found out, everything would fall apart. I promised not to tell, because I was the good sister, but good doesn't mean stupid. So I opened a folder, screenshots, texts, photos she thought she deleted, and the draft she wrote 2 years ago, never published, a confession post. She called it the night that changed everything. She never published it, too risky, too honest, but I kept it, just in case. I copied the text, pasted it into a new post, backdated it, gave it a soft title, What I've Never Said. Then I added one line at the top. This is scheduled to go live in 48 hours. You know what to do. I didn't post it. I just let it sit there, scheduled, waiting. And then I logged out. 30 minutes later, I got a call. Unknown number. I didn't answer. Then came the texts. Lily, what did you do? Lily, take it down. Now, Lily, please, I'm begging you. She never begged before, not once in her life. She called again. Then Mom called, then Ben. They left voicemails, yelling, crying, confused. I listened to everyone quietly. Then I texted her back. I didn't publish it yet, she replied instantly. Lily, why are you doing this? Lily, I'm your sister. Lily, please don't ruin my life. And I said, you already did that. On Thanksgiving silence, I waited. An hour later, another text. Lily, what do you want? That was the first honest thing she said. So I told her, I want you to fix it. Tell them the truth. Publicly. I want you to take it all back. And I want you to do it where you hurt me. She didn't answer right away. I imagined her sitting in her living room, shaking, wondering what I'd do next, because she knew I could end her with one click. And for the first time in her life, she couldn't control the story. I went to work the next day like nothing happened. Ate lunch alone, came home, lit a candle. Then my phone buzzed, a notification, her blog, new post. A letter to my sister. I clicked and read. She wrote, "This isn't the kind of post I usually write." She wrote, "I've made mistakes, I've hurt people." She wrote, "On Thanksgiving, I crossed a line. I mocked someone who's been kinder to me than I ever deserved. Someone I love, someone I betrayed." She didn't say my name, but this time everyone knew. And the comments changed. "Wait, are you talking about your sister? This feels real. Are you okay? This is brave, but what did you do?" She didn't reply. She turned off comments and sent me a text. "Lily, I did it. Are you happy now?" I didn't answer. I just opened my drafts, deleted the scheduled post, that was all. She didn't say thank you, she didn't apologize again. But it didn't matter, because I wasn't doing this for her, or for them. I was doing it for me. For every dinner where I was invisible, every holiday where I was the afterthought, every time I paid, cleaned, listened, and got nothing back. I wasn't the bitter sister, I was the quiet one, and now they knew. I didn't want revenge, I just wanted them to feel it, the weight, the shame, the silence, like I had for years. And for once, they did. I didn't post anything, didn't comment, didn't explain myself. I just let the truth hang in the air, and it was louder than any scream I could have made. They stopped inviting me to family dinners. Mom said it was too awkward now. Ben said it's better to take space. And Lily, she unfollowed me, deleted old photos, removed tags, pretended it never happened. But I know it did, and so does she. 3 months passed. Winter turned the city gray. The snow didn't bother me, it never did. I stopped checking Lily's blog, stopped answering family group chats. They kept texting, birthdays, anniversaries, the usual fake warmth. I left them on read. No one asked how I was, no one ever did. But I was okay, better even. I started sleeping through the night, started going on walks, reading again. I didn't want revenge anymore, I just wanted peace. And then came the invitation. Cream envelope, gold lettering. Lily's husband was running for office, city council. They were hosting a launch dinner, formal, private, 60 guests, donors, press, local faces. The invite had my name on it, in cursive. I stared at it for a full minute, then I turned it over. In small print, family presence is encouraged, for unity, unity. That's what I was now, a photo opportunity, a smiling background, a reminder that they had support. I didn't RSVP, but I showed up. Not in a dress, not in heels, black slacks, simple blouse, no makeup, hair tied back. I walked in 5 minutes late. Everyone turned. I didn't smile, I didn't wave. I found my name card, sat down, next to me, a man I didn't know, probably a donor. Across the table, Lily. She looked straight through me, like I wasn't there. But her hands were shaking. I saw it when she picked up her glass. And when the speeches started, she wouldn't look at me. Ben spoke first, said she was brilliant, empathetic, a pillar of the community. People clapped, cameras flashed, and then Lily stood, and something in her voice cracked, just slightly. She thanked the guests, the supporters, her incredible husband. She didn't mention her sister, not once. After dessert, there were mingling rounds, polite handshakes, posed photos. I didn't move, until a woman in a red coat walked over, introduced herself, local journalist, writing a piece on family values in politics. She smiled at me. "You're Lily's sister, right?" I nodded. She asked how it felt to see her succeed. I answered quietly. "She's always succeeded, even when she didn't deserve it." The woman blinked, then smiled awkwardly. I excused myself, went to the restroom, and that's when I heard them. 2 women near the sinks. Didn't see me walk in. They were laughing. "She looks nothing like her. I thought they were adopted. Or maybe just jealous. I mean, she could have at least worn mascara." They turned, saw me. Silence. I washed my hands, dried them slowly, looked at them once in the mirror, then left. Outside, the air was sharp, wind scraping down the street. My phone buzzed. Lily, why did you come? I didn't answer. Lily, seriously, what was the point? I stood there on the sidewalk, watching the cars pass, and I typed back, to remind you, I'm still here, that was all. She didn't respond. But the next day, her blog was gone, offline, every post, every picture, deleted. I checked again at midnight. Still gone. No explanation, no goodbye. And then, the real twist, I got a message request from someone I hadn't spoken to in years. Cassie, her college roommate. We were never close, just polite. She wrote, I saw the article. I know what Lily did. I stared at it. Then came a second message. You're not alone. She attached a file. Old emails, voice recordings, screenshots. Lily had stolen from her, back in college, used her essays, took credit, even got her kicked out of a program. Cassie had proof, but she never spoke up. Said she was scared. Now she wasn't. She wanted to go public. And she asked me, do you want to help? I didn't answer right away. I just closed my phone, made tea, sat in silence. The kettle hissed. The room was warm. Then I replied, yes. 2 days later, the story broke. Not in a scandalous way. No tabloids, just a quiet article. Local blog, title, Behind the Brand, a Closer. Look at the blogger who preaches honesty. It listed everything. The Thanksgiving post, the college incident, the private blog confession. Cassie came forward with her name, her face. I didn't need to. The story spoke for itself. Lily didn't deny it. She couldn't. The screenshots were real. The recordings were clear. She posted once on Instagram. Just a story. A photo of her kids, caption, taking a break to focus on what matters. Then she disappeared. No new posts, no campaigns, no launch dinners. Silence, the kind she never gave me. I got another text from Mom. Mom, what did you do to her? I didn't answer. She called me selfish, said I ruined Lily's life, said I made the family look dysfunctional. And I just stared at the message for a long time, then typed, we were always dysfunctional. I just stopped pretending. That was the last time we spoke. The silence was loud. A month went by, then another. Thanksgiving came again. I didn't go. No invites this time, no texts, no guilt messages. They had dinner without me. I saw the pictures online. Smiles that looked forced, pies that looked burnt. Ben wasn't in any of them. Lily posted a single photo, her kids on the porch, caption, just us this year. No hashtags, no sponsors, no press tags, just her, alone. And it hit me. I wasn't angry anymore. I didn't want her to fall. I just wanted her to stop standing on me. I wasn't the villain in her story. I was just the page she kept trying to rip out. And now that page was taped back in, permanent. I started writing again, not blogs, not posts, just for me. Sometimes at night, I'd sit by the window with tea, write small things, 1 sentence a day. What they called weakness was just exhaustion from carrying everyone. Or she didn't leave to be dramatic. She left to survive. It helped. My job picked up. Quietly, no announcements. I signed a contract with a publishing house. Technical writing, boring to some, beautiful to me. I got promoted. They asked me to lead a department. I said yes. No one in my family knew. I didn't post about it. Didn't send a screenshot to the group chat. They wouldn't have cared. Or worse, they'd pretend to. So I just kept living. And then spring came. I got a letter, handwritten, from Lily. The envelope smelled like her perfume. Inside, 2 pages, slanted handwriting, rushed, emotional. She said she was sorry, not just for the post, for all of it, for being the favorite, for using me, for assuming I'd never fight back. She wrote, I never thought you'd do it. I always thought you needed us more than we needed you. Then she added, I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to know. I see you now. That part stuck with me. I see you now. I folded the letter, put it in a drawer, didn't cry, didn't smile, just felt done, a clean end. 3 weeks later, I saw her at a bookstore. By accident, she was alone, hoodie, no makeup, holding a children's book. We made eye contact. She froze. I didn't. I walked past her. Not fast, not dramatic, just past her. She turned like she wanted to say something, but she didn't, and I didn't stop. I walked outside, into the light rain. It felt good, freeing. I didn't win. She didn't lose. It wasn't about that. It was just over. I went home, made soup, watched a movie, slept well. No nightmares, no replaying the dinner scene in my head. It stopped looping, stopped hurting, and I realized something. They never hated me. They just needed someone to be beneath them, someone to mock, to ignore, to blame. And when I left that role, the whole house of cards fell. Now I'm not angry, I'm not bitter, I just don't care anymore. I light candles at night. I rearranged my living room. I have peace, and it's louder than anything they ever said to me. Sometimes people ask me about my family. I say, we're not close. They nod. Don't ask more. I like it that way. No explanations, no stories, just space. My story doesn't end with revenge. It ends with silence, the kind you earn, the kind you protect. They told me I was too quiet, too soft, but it turns out silence is what saved me. I didn't scream. I didn't post back. I didn't destroy them. I just told the truth. And left. Sometimes that's enough. Sometimes that's everything.